Hey everyone, so before I start today's new Vader comic, I want to briefly say a few nights ago, I was on the phone with a director down in LA, and I know you're thinking, ooh, fancy, but no. He got his master's in directing and writing, as well as being heavily mentored firsthand by Simon Crane. Now, Crane used to be an old stunt coordinator and now has become a second director. He directed all of the action shots in the movie, especially the Vader scene at the end, from scratch. That was all him. Now, why am I telling you this? I told you all that I want to make an extremely high-budget Vader fan film, and while I'm just in the earliest of stages in talking about it with this guy, I wanted to let you all know that it could actually happen. It would be crowdfunded by everyone, and I assure you it would make the Rogue One scene look like child's play compared to what I've written. It is my absolute dream to make this happen. So, if you guys want this, and if you trust me to make something really special, set for release sometime in December of 2018, I'm thinking, then comment below for me to proceed. I have another phone call with him next week, and I can let you guys know how that goes. This channel is as much yours as it is mine. Remember that. Alright, so let's get on with the video.
We would be honored if you would join us.
So today's new Vader comic, I'm gonna cut into two pieces. And no, not for the double ad revenue, we're way beyond that now, but because the scene is so epic and so out of the norm from anything that we've seen that I wanted to honor it with its own video and to talk specifically about it in length and detail. Then we can come back tomorrow with the full comic, which is all just political story, plot stuff anyways, so here we go. Starting off from the last Vader comic, issue 12, we begin today's on Mustafar. Fire and lava ablaze, Vader is right back on Mustafar before he was beaten and burned by his former master. As Obi-Wan jumps to the high ground, he looks to Anakin and tells him, "It's over," and you guys know the rest. When we see Vader say the exact same line Anakin did in Revenge of the Sith, standing in the exact same spot. However, this time, his powers fully unlocked in the dark side, his rage burning hotter than the lava that sparked his inevitable doom. As he says,
"You underestimate my power."
As Obi-Wan tells him not to try it, we all know what happened in the original timeline, where Anakin jumped and got sliced into pieces. Vader, now harnessing the dark side of the Force, lifts the lava onto Obi-Wan and then throws him into the air, slamming him to the ground. As Vader watches his old master recite the same lines, only now having switched places, the comic actually gets really dark, which surprised me to say the least, but in a good way. As lava comes crashing down onto Obi-Wan's body and face, melting and burning him alive as it devours him whole, Vader just callously stands there, watching in amusement, remembering where he lay at the hands of Kenobi. As his mask lowers onto his scarred head, Lord Sidious's voice speaks to him.
Lord Vader, come to me. I have a task for you. Yes, my master. The time has come for this empire to evolve. It must become more than a political abstraction. In the 3 years since my ascension, I have allowed a convenient fiction to persist, that the Empire is merely an extension of the Republic. The Imperial Senate remains an illusion of many voices coming together to govern. In truth, there is only one voice, mine. As Palpatine continues to talk, he basically tells Vader that the Mon Cala are very defiant to the Empire. And this, of course, is where Admiral Akbar comes in when we continue the issue. So I'm going to cut it right there, guys. I wanted to continue, but the next one will be the whole comic entirely, so don't worry about that. But I will briefly give you a rundown. Vader goes to meet Palpatine, as we see, and then he begins his mission. And it's purely political, there isn't too much action. He meets Admiral Akbar, which is kind of cool. And then from there, it gets kind of interesting on the very last page. This is where we see an old Jedi Master who knows just who Anakin has turned into. Darth Vader. This is obviously someone who has survived Order 66, and it's not Jocasta Nu, it's not Master Infila, because they're both dead, so who could it be? Obviously, it's someone very powerful and wise if they are being referred to as a master. So, dare I be hopeful once again and say that it could be Mace Windu? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. So the part with Vader and Obi-Wan was really special to see on Mustafar, because that to me is just such a realistic fantasy that I'm sure Vader had literally every day of his life. If he could go back to Mustafar as Vader and not as Anakin, he would have destroyed Obi-Wan, hands down, which
somewhat answers the question canonically, I guess in a way, that Vader is more powerful than Anakin was in Revenge of the Sith. However, don't get it twisted. That's not to say that he's more powerful than Anakin would have been had he not been burned, but I'm sure you guys get the picture. The dark side opens up much more aggressive and ruthless attacks that I think even semi-light side users wouldn't even think of, let alone Jedi. If Anakin had used the lava to spray Obi-Wan, distracting him, then slamming him to the ground and engulfing him in the lava and flames, then we would have had an entirely different Star Wars universe. Perhaps that's a pretty cool fan fiction I could make. I think Padme would probably turn to the dark side or something along those lines, who knows. So obviously this kind of a fantasy or dream that Vader has here while he's meditating in his chamber is something that I would really like to see him have in an Obi-Wan spin-off film, as I'm sure it would cover Vader as well. However, what I want to see Obi-Wan have on Tatooine, where he's having all these dreams and nightmares, is basically visions of Anakin coming for him, or visions of Anakin asking him why he left him there, why he left him to die. Basically just these nightmares that would keep Obi-Wan awake every night and not allowing him to sleep. Something that would show us why he aged so much. He was clearly so stressed out on Tatooine, just watching Luke and having these recurring dreams and nightmares of Anakin, his best friend, his brother, being engulfed in flames over and over and over again in his mind. I think that would be something very cool to see on film. And at the end of the day, it would be something realistic to the story, because Anakin's story, Darth Vader's story, is a tragedy. It is very depressing and dark and sad, and I hope Disney catches on to that, which it seems like they are from these comics, so I'm very hopeful for what we will get in the future. Let me know what you guys think about the start of this comic, who the Jedi Master is at the end, and about the Vader fan film that I mentioned at the start. Thanks for taking the time to watch today's video, guys, and I hope you're all having an awesome day wherever you are in the galaxy. I will see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
The Force will be with you. Always.
Fulfill your destiny.